And good morning and welcome to Sports Talk. David Keever along with Jason Barber, Terry Reinhardt, Steve K with you in the studio on a beautiful, clear, nice and cool Saturday morning. Morning, fellas.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning.
Glad to have everybody along. Gonna bring you up to date on what's been going on in the sports world. Big night last night for local high school and high school softball and baseball teams. Good night for some, bad night for some. Some teams' season came to an end last night, but guess what? If it did come to an end, you still had quite a successful season because you made it to the fourth round of the state playoffs in your bracket. Last night was the fourth round. Some teams will move on now into the best 2 out of 3 series, the best 2 out of 3 in softball, baseball, and softball. I think this is the first year of the softball. Is this the first year for softball going to this format? Same format as the baseball does. 2 out of 3 in the regionals, and also something different. I don't know if all of them get underway on Tuesday night, but I know for sure some of them start on Tuesday night. It won't be the old Thursday, Friday, or Friday, Saturday thing that we saw in the past in the Western regionals. We're going to see.
Girls softball, the final, are they still like 4 teams, or they just do the?
He wasn't listening, was he?
No, I wasn't. I don't get it.
Going to the regionals this year, just like 2 out of 3, just like baseball for the first time.
I thought you were talking about the West and the East finals.
I am.
I see what you're talking about now.
I am talking about the West and East finals. This is the regional
They
finals.
used
It'll
to
be
do
2
the
out of
4.
3. Used to they took 4 teams, 2 from each side,
Yeah.
and go play the tournament down in Raleigh. But they have gone to the baseball format now. And congratulations, East Rutherford girls, as they will be participating in that 2 out of 3 Western Regional Final. And you'll find out who they play in just a little bit when Terry gives all the scores. But I will shout out a congratulations as well to Burns Baseball, Coach David Wise and the crew over there at Burns, and also to the Bunker Hill baseball team, some locals that will be advancing to the Western Regional Finals and a shot at playing in a state championship. You know what? I tell you what, I like all 3 of these teams I just mentioned to maybe advance to the state championship. I mean, they beat some quality teams along the way, you know.
I do too, and the reason being because now's when you see who's got the best pitching.
Mm-hmm.
Can't keep coming
Can't-
back with
can't
the
be
same.
one.
Can't be one, yeah.
Can't be
right.
one. In baseball, anyway.
Exactly.
Can't
But
be
yeah,
one.
in softball you can like wear a girl's arm out, but they understand that pitching in softball you do not hurt a girl's arm by going underhanded.
What they say, right?
You know.
Maybe the men ought to try it.
Yeah. 'Cause I was watching this past weekend the World Series in college, and the girls over there was pitching 186 pitches, and you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
I mentioned real quick, girl from our area, Chelsea Wilkinson, the starting pitcher for Georgia. Yesterday was beaten. Yesterday they lost to Baylor. Last I saw 6-0, so I'm assuming the final in that game probably wound up 6-0. But she did pitch a shutout, Terry, against your team earlier in the regional. A no hitter actually, not just a shutout, but a no hitter to get them. She pitches for Georgia, and that was to get them to the super regionals. And her father, a former East Lincoln baseball standout. She was a former pitcher at Alexander Central. Found this out too. Found this on the web. Actually, Brett did. She was the first girl ever named Gatorade All-American 4 years in high school.
Wow.
So pretty impressive as well.
Very
I saw her
impressive.
pitch before. So it's unbelievable how they can make that ball rise and curve,
Yes.
and then they throw change-ups. And
Georgia not eliminated, so she'll
Right.
get an opportunity to maybe pitch again if they can knock off Baylor today in Game 2. They'll get a chance at Game 3 later. And like I told you, Steve, I think she probably will pitch in Game 3 if they happen to make it to Game 3. Because even though she was beaten, she's been their most consistent pitcher all year. So lots of softball going on now in those super regionals. Baseball is in the conference tournament stage, right? We are in conference tournaments, ACC tournament. What did you tell me?
Speaking of conference tournaments,
Your team didn't make the tournament.
well, they played in that little old play-in game. And don't get me wrong, I'm a state fan, and we're playing Carolina. And
They played in the play-out game.
yeah, that's what it was. But they still say state might have a shot at making the 64-team field. They still come up and say, I don't see how, because when you play in a play-in game, how can you make it? I mean, the record's decent, but can you make it? That's a good question. But in the play-in game, if anybody watched that game, and I blame it on state because we had bases loaded 3 times. We had it loaded in the 4th, with 1 out, and then we had it loaded in the 5th with no outs, and had it loaded in the 8th with 1 out, and we scored 2 runs. I blame that all on us, but the play at home when Trey Turner scored, and excuse me for being a bad rep on an umpire, but
Yeah.
you got to be in the game. He never even saw the play, and he pumped the guy out. And when they showed it over and over and over again, Trey Turner scored to tie the game.
I think maybe they may have been watching the pros try to hit and score runs.
Yeah, and in baseball and
execute.
everything's free, but when he turned and he pumped the guy out, and don't get me wrong, it was a strike. It was a good call. But he turned and he was looking off into the right side of the field and never even saw the guy. Next thing he knows, he sees the catcher up there putting a tag on, and he turns back around and pumps him.
I think Dave's talking about the ACC tournament, the surprise team, and they never have been in the championship game in their history is Maryland. They beat Virginia, then they turn around and beat Florida State. Yeah, beat Florida State yesterday.
And Duke. I mean, you're speaking of teams. I mean, I think Duke's playing awful well in that tournament.
If they beat Miami this morning at 11, which for some reason Miami is having trouble in the tournament, even though they won that division during the regular season. If they win, they play Maryland tomorrow for the championship. If they lose, Georgia Tech plays Maryland.
So you got it down.
Well, according to what they said on the TV last night.
We'll take your word for it. Just to
Don't
run.
have
You're right. You're exactly right. You're exactly right. I will take a look at some of the headlines this week, and you guys are going to have to help me and fill in on some of these because there was a few things I didn't follow quite as closely this week. But it says Ray Rice, sorry, I failed miserably.
I think they're talking about
I heard a little bit about that last night. They were talking about the incident with the.
with his wife.
But he did,
It is his wife. With his
Yeah,
wife.
it had
Yep.
him and his wife. They was both talking to each one of them, and he says, "Hey, we all make mistakes," and I mean, she was backing him just as much as he was backing her. So
Surprised by that or not?
No, I'm not
Nah.
surprised.
Not anymore, right? Not anymore.
It happens. It just happens to be a pro football player that's under the microscope and
Are you
everything they do.
But are you surprised she's backing him? That's what. I
Oh,
want.
Are
Well,
you
she married him
surprised?
after,
Right.
after
Yeah.
the incident, so yes.
Money talk.
That's what I was going to say. I'm not surprised at all because he's the one with the thick wallet. So, yep, that doesn't surprise me at all. Looks like Paul George okayed for Game 3.
yeah,
Why the big gaps
Well, no,
in basketball games? Why
Well-
are we waiting 2 days?
well,
now,
you
Jason?
won't any more
Or
because
3 or
now
whatever.
you won't any more because now you're gonna get a game every day throughout the rest of the playoffs. I just don't know. I don't know if it was a TV conflict or whatnot, but yeah, they had the 2-day gap, which worked out good for Indiana, but their concussion protocol has got to be questioned because last year George Hill in the playoffs took a hit to the head in the game. Was cleared to come back in and play, and then he missed the next game because he had a concussion. Well, Paul George, he got kneed in the back of the head Wednesday night or Tuesday night. They didn't take him to the locker room for us to do a concussion test, but he come back out and play, and then after the game he admits he blacked out, and he's blurry eyed. Then it comes out, oh, he had a concussion. So. Well, he's cleared to play now, but will he be able to play? You just got to question Indiana's team doctors. They keep clearing him to come back in the game, and like Roy Hibbert earlier this season also took a hit to the head, and he looked like a punch drunk boxer out there, all woozy and wobbly.
It showed for the first 3 quarters of the playoffs.
and now Ibaka all of a sudden is about free to come back day to day.
Said that a lot of the swelling in his calf had been.
That has more to do with them getting beat by
That's
52
exactly.
points in the
I
first
tell
2
you
games.
what,
That's what that is.
have y'all ever seen anything that horrible?
I question how these guys make the NBA. Oklahoma City Thunder, really are a 2-man team. I mean, everybody talked about it being a 2-man team, but you didn't know how much of an impact Serge Ibaka had on the offensive end until you watched these 2 games.
Well, I agree with that, but they're going to have to get a point guard, a true point guard. Westbrook is a number 2 guard.
Yeah, and he was a 2 guard in college.
He's going to score. He's going to look to shoot, before he does any
But-
kind of passing.
But when you're the second best player on the team, and it's obviously his scoring is needed because nobody,
Right.
you got two starters that can't
Yep.
even, three of your five
That's why
starters,
I couldn't believe they let Harden get away.
three of your five starters combined for 4 points, and that was amongst two players, 3 out of 5 starters, and they let Harden because they paid Ibaka, and
That's
they
right.
re-signed re-signed Perkins.
And they don't need Perkins. Don't what's he do?
No, he's
Perkins-
aggravated me.
Perkins was brought in for NBA world that existed in the Thunder's mind where they was going to have to match up against the Lakers, who had Bonham and Gasol at the time.
But
And
now
match up against the Grizzlies, and his talent does not
they
fit.
showed how many points that Nick Collison and
Perkins, yeah.
the
Steven
other,
Adams.
no the other forward that starts.
Thabo Cephalosha.
Yeah,
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
they
4
had
points
like
between,
2 points or 4 points
4
between
points
them.
between 3 players, 4 points. Yeah, and you're an NBA player.
Mm.
Can't
San
a
Antonio
Mm.
is all
That's
they're
just
doing
sad.
is it's a layup drill.
Mhm. Well, that's where
They
Ibaka come in.
screen and cut and they make the pass and they don't even guard them.
That's where the loss was Ibaka because he cleaned up a lot of that
He
mess in
did.
the paint because he was in the top 3 in shot block. You know,
Yeah.
he's been the top 3 shot blocker his whole career. So that's where you miss him at on the defensive end as well.
We'll look at these playoffs in just a minute, but one thing I want to mention: when will we see the changing of the guard and with the power in the NBA? Because it's not right now. It's not going to happen. And Johnny and me are in full control. We're the only 2 picks, San Antonio and Miami, to go to the finals, and that's the way it's going to be. It's going to be San Antonio and Miami in the finals, and it won't be surprised to me if the others, Oklahoma City and Indiana, don't win another game from here on out. I won't be shocked if neither one of them win again.
I can still see Indiana and Miami going 7 because you think about it. Indiana was in that game. They were leading late in the game, and it just
But that's when Miami plays its best.
the 2 best players, D Wade and LeBron, did what D Wade and LeBron
That's
did
right.
when George couldn't get anything. He was 4 of 16 shooting in the game, and
Leave
you know,
Miami within striking distance
and that's-
in the
that's-
final 4 minutes, and you better look out.
And that's the thing with Miami. They just want to keep it close and
Mhm.
let those guys take over. But all their games this season, none have been blowouts between these 2 squads. And they've been back and forth all season long, their matchups. So this is just holding true to form right now.
All year long, I thought this could be the year where we saw some different, maybe saw Oklahoma City
San Antonio
playing
is
Indiana
just-
in
they're
the
just
finals.
too-
But yeah,
they're so unselfish.
they're getting
And-
better
and they
as the playoffs go. They're getting better.
they make threes like they don't miss.
It's the system, man. I mean, you gotta give credit to Popovich. But he
You got to
took.
play his way.
You gotta play. He gets guys that can fit his system.
That's what he does.
And if you're a struggling player, look at Danny Green. He was basically a 12th man,
Yep.
couldn't get off the bench. He's the dap man, I like to call it, dapping up LeBron. He was in Cleveland, and now he's a starter there for NBA Finals contender.
Look at Danny Green. I know we're moving on
Come
now.
on now.
Jim Irsay charged with 2 misdemeanors. Agree, disagree.
Well, I mean, he should have got charged with something. I mean, he was
The-
driving
driving
under
under the influence
so-
of.
That's
Yep.
some Oxycontin or something.
Yeah, Oxycontin. I'm surprised. I guess they didn't question about the money, having $29,000 in cash on you. That's with a lot of drugs on you. That's
Carrying around money.
Yeah, but I was going to say he has many reasons he can carry around, big money like that, which is odd though.
Yeah, 29,000 and a bunch of drugs is I think maybe a drug deal was going down. But hey, it's a misdemeanor. We'll see now that he's been formally charged what the NFL would do because this is the conduct policy does have effect on everybody involved in the NFL.
A lot of people think he got preferential treatment. They announced his punishment before a holiday weekend. Here we are, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. All your major sports talk shows, other than this one, won't be on the air. But and it won't get talked about a lot because by Tuesday, that subject will have kind of faded off. There'll be something else to talk about on Tuesday.
Well, there's
Probably the fact that San Antonio and Miami are up 3-1.
you still got
Or
the
4-0.
Donald Sterling thing now. He's just like
Well, Sterling, I was going to that next.
Yep.
Sterling's wife to control Clippers.
but they still
sale.
want-
Well, he's wanting to. He's come out basically going to put his wife in charge as far as selling the team. But
If
the
you were
NBA
in charge of the NBA, would you go say that, Jason? Would you say go ahead and do that?
no, you still follow protocol and do what you need to
Well,
do.
they
as far
still
as,
they still gonna vote.
Yeah, I mean, you
force
still
them to sell
follow
it.
because you still follow protocol and do what you need to do as far as make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. That nothing's done wrong.
Okay, well, I mean, y'all, here's the deal. When all this is over, they're gonna make money.
Well,
Oh,
I mean,
a lot.
The whole bottom line is
But
they're
in-
going to
but in
make
the end-
money.
but in
You're
the
going to
end,
get them out of here.
But you can't keep him from making
Exactly.
money.
Oh, I know, that's
because
what I'm
wa-
saying.
I mean,
That's what's gonna happen.
That's what he invested in
So-
it for. I'm sure. You know,
Yeah.
was the like most owners do. I mean,
Speaking of owners,
they love the sport, but they also want.
Mark
cash.
Cuban sort of added a little fire to the.
Yeah, I mean, he gave an interview with
What did you guys think
with
about his comments?
Inc.com. I mean, the example he used was poor in taste
Right.
with the kid in the hoodie, but I mean, he was speaking all in
But
all
he told the
honesty.
truth,
He told
right?
the truth. He was speaking all honesty. Yeah, the example he gave was poor with the hoodie and the whole Trayvon Martin situation. He did come out and apologize to the Martin family for that.
He
But
probably said what a lot of people think.
He said, I mean,
It just came out of his mouth.
he said look, everybody has prejudice, everybody has bigotries, and
Yeah.
you know, and what his real meaning of his context is he's afraid this setting the precedence that someone's private conversation can cause you to lose a team. That's what it's basically boiling down to. That's what he's afraid of. That's what it's boiling down to.
And he just happens to own the NBA team.
I mean, 'cause
everything
he's
he
trying to-
says is going to be
Well,
Yeah.
otherwise he wouldn't have been interviewed.
no,
Or if he was, nobody would have cared.
no. That's right.
I mean, it just wouldn't have made the national news anyway. But it did. So it's another thing that.
But I think it was more not the sports outlets that was making a big deal. It's more the news stations saying, "Oh, another NBA owner," you know, trying to basically slicing this up to make it they think he's on the Donald Sterling level or whatnot.
And other news this week, let's just mention this. Our own Phil Garner from the Gaston Gazette down in Gastonia finally made ESPN, Sports Nation, yesterday, as he tweeted about the Gastonia Grizzlies' new uniforms. And if you haven't seen the Gastonia Grizzlies
Oh yeah,
uniforms,
I saw it. Yes.
they have been on national television. You need to check them out. They're calling themselves the best dressed team in baseball because their new uniforms look like tuxedos without the jacket.
Sure.
You got on the
Yeah.
vest, the bow tie, all the little things, the white shirt, all one piece. However, made it
I
look
don't mind
like
it
that.
having a
But
nice looking uniform, but that's
Sports
a little
Nation
much.
had Phil's tweet up yesterday on Sports Nation, and got to see those Grizzly uniforms, and they're not going to wear them all the time, from what I understand, but they
Good.
are wearing them tonight at the
Home
season opener,
Okay.
and they will wear them throughout the year, maybe special events is what I was told, special situations.
Wear them
So-
on Sunday.
Well, you know the saying: if you look good, you play good. So hey, maybe that's it.
And also, guys, it is the minor leagues, right? And the minor leagues are known for different weird promotions, whatever it takes to get people in the stands. Always have the greatest names in sports, you know. I mean,
Well, it used to be just minor league. Look at the White Sox years ago; they had the short pants like
sure
softball.
did.
uniform.
And the top looked like a tuxedo top. It
Yeah,
sure did.
something.
I didn't know you was that old, Steve.
Oh, definitely.
There's a rundown of what's going on. We come back, we'll look at the Major League Baseball scores and standings and talk about the NBA playoffs on Sports Talk.
Rates are low today. The time is right to improve your home. We have home improvement loans and we're lending right now. Join your neighbors and friends and people all over our local communities who are improving the quality of their lives by improving the quality of their homes. We're an equal housing lender.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community minded just like you.
The going out of business sale continues at Dewar's Jewel Shop in downtown Gastonia. Hurry in now and take 50 to 70% off regular price of diamond rings and pendants. Plus birthstone rings are from 50 to 70% off. Come in and see the selection of turquoise sterling silver rings from 50 to 70% off. And showcases are for sale too. Get free gift wrap at Dewar's Jewel Shop, 158 South Street in downtown Gastonia, right across from City Hall.
Strawberries, strawberries, strawberries. They are now in at Spake Farms in Shelby. Big, red, juicy, sweet strawberries. Pick them yourself or buy these delicious strawberries already picked. Great for ice cream, pies, on cake, or just to eat by themselves. Pick daily at Spake Farms, Highway 150 East, a quarter mile above the YMCA in Shelby.
Mr. Sparky, we're on time, you'll see. Mr. Sparky, or your repair is free.
Hi, Rusty Wise here. Do you know that Mr. Sparky specializes in on-time electrical service for every job? If there's a light that doesn't light or an outlet that's out, don't let that drive you crazy. Call Mr. Sparky. We have qualified electricians. All the work is guaranteed and no job is too small. Call us today. We'll be on time, you'll see, or the repair is free. Since we price by the job and not by the hour, you'll save money. You'll love our clean vans and crisp uniforms. So don't wait. If you need an electrician, don't put it off. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Mr. Sparky, we're on time, you'll see. Mr. Sparky, or your repair is free.
If you need an electrician, don't put it off. Call Mr. Sparky, 888-8-SPARKY.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Do you have a lot of old medications piling up? Well, you know, most people do. Then get rid of them and do it safely. Drop them off, your old medications, in the new Medication Drop Box, now located inside Falston Pharmacy on Highway 18 North in Falston. All medication will be disposed of by the Cleveland County Sheriff's Department. It's easy. Just clean out your medicine cabinet, put them in a bag, and bring them into Falston Pharmacy and drop them in the drop box. Falston Pharmacy, Highway 18 North in Falston, keeping you safe. Please join us each Sunday morning right here at Big O Country for our Sunday morning live church services. On WOHS 1390 AM, it's a live church service from Calvary Baptist Church in Shelby. On WCSL 1590 AM, it's a live church service from the First Baptist Church in Cherryville. And on WLON 1050 AM, it's a live church service of the Covenant Bible Church in Lincoln. Plus, be sure to join us for our other Sunday morning programs. If you or your church are interested in a religious program, please contact Dan Greer at 704-482-1390. And be sure to attend the church of your choice this Sunday.
I just wanna feel this moment.
Miss Worldwide, Christina Aguilera.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David Keever, Steve K, Terry Reinhardt, Jason Barber with you in the studio this morning. I've been talking a little headlines from around the world this week. It's kind of a
Don't leave out your horse.
quiet. Yeah. Yep, California Chrome got the win last week.
What do you think, guys? You going to do it? Triple Crown?
Well,
How many years has it been? 36?
78, so, yeah.
Yeah, well, it took him a while, daggum, to even like put the horse in there on account of the nose strips that he had on.
That's the next race.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. They was wanting to decline him from coming there.
Now the next one is the belt. It's a mile and a half. So what's
No,
the
2
distance?
miles. I think it's the next
whatever
one.
it is, it's a quarter mile longer.
Yes.
So
I thought they said it was a mile and a half. Maybe I've been the other race.
I'm not sure, but it is a quarter mile longer. But I was informed yesterday by a horse racing expert that some of these trainers with some of these big name horses held them out of the last race of the Preakness so that they're fully ready to have a big chance at winning and not letting California Chrome. One of Wicked Strong is one of the horses that did not run in the Preakness after making a pretty good showing
Well, I wonder why they didn't have
in the Derby.
like 10 horses.
Yeah.
Well, those horses have no chance at winning Triple Crown.
So they just
Take them out, train
what
them,
about the
rest them,
money
have
they
them
can
ready.
win?
Well, right, but I guess maybe they're training for that extra quarter mile, and I don't understand. Here's one thing I can't figure out. In the first race, California Chrome was pulling away at the end. In this last race, another quarter mile and he might have lost.
Yeah.
Because, I can't even remember which horse it was, but there was one coming on strong. Maybe that was his name, coming on strong. But
That's Jason.
it was it could have got really, really dicey if there had been a little bit further, a little bit more distance to go in that one. But hey,
I'm pulling for him to win.
I am too, just
Yeah.
because it's so odd. I mean,
Once a year.
you know, right? We don't ever see it. So obviously, I'm hoping to see a Triple Crown winner. Now, you know, maybe there's a reason that some of those other owners, I don't know all the details, but maybe there's a reason that those other trainers and owners don't want to see that particular horse be the one that does it. But most people have fallen in love with the owners because they're just two old regular guys that wound up buying them a horse for what, $10,000. and have
They've already
become
turned-
millionaires.
Yeah, multi
Yeah.
multi
Have become millionaires. Well, that's a pretty nice investment they have made so far. And if this thing wins a Triple Crown, who knows how much they could earn? You know.
Do we know how many years it's been since there's been that possibility? Like,
Well, just a few years
Going
back,
into the
Smarty Jones, Barber Road. It was.
Yeah, we've had some.
We've
but-
had about 5 or 6
Yeah.
within the last 10 years.
Did Curlin? Did Curlin win 2 of the first 2? I'll look that up here in a minute and see how many
I know one year,
won the first 2 legs.
whatever year it was, I can't remember now, but the horse that had a chance to win it finished last. I mean, he didn't, it ain't like he finished second or third or within a photo finish, of winning the Triple Crown. He finished last.
Yeah.
Well, I know a lot of them now.
Not
and
going to win
some
it,
of
you might as
them-
well.
Yeah, I guess it's
Yeah,
well,
a lot of them in them races, though, if something goes wrong with their horse, they'll pull him out. Yeah, instead of having him running full blast, too.
And is that okay?
Yeah, I don't
I
blame
mean,
them. I mean, it's all about the horse. You don't
Especially
want
if
to
you're
hurt the horse.
Especially you're going to end up studding the horse out there.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
That's what I was going to say. They can make a lot of money doing that, kind of like we do with Terry. We
Yeah.
stud him out, and that's where we make our money. 2008, Big Brown.
Big
We didn't
Brown.
mention
That's
Big
one.
Brown.
that's one.
2008, Big Brown won the Kentucky Derby Preakness, finished 9th. So that might have been the year. That might have been last. I mean, 9th could have been last in that race. A Fleet Alex, believe it or not, won 2 legs, but it wasn't the first leg. Finished 3rd in the Derby, then finished first in the Preakness and the Belmont. And then you had Smarty Jones in 2004. First, and 2nd. That's about as close
What
you
year
can
was
get.
that you said?
04.
04.
Funny side, the year before that, in 03, first, and 3rd. War Emblem the year before that. So we had 2 horses that won twice there for like 4 or 5 years in a row. But, War Emblem won the first 2, then came in 8th. Point Given finished 5th in the Derby, but then won the next 2. So it's amazing to me. I mean, I'm looking on here, guys, since 1981. I mean, a lot of horses have won 2 legs, but never could get that 3rd one. You know what? Chances are it's not going to happen. I mean, let's
Probably
face
not.
it. Chances are it's not going to happen. So only time will tell, right? Only time. And this
favorite
one's
horse-
still 2 weeks from today, right?
Yes.
My favorite horse that ever raced in these Triple Crown events was Chateauguay. I don't know if y'all too young to remember that
That's
horse.
back
but-
before my time, Steve.
But it was that horse was something else. I don't think it won the Triple Crown, but I just remember that name.
Yep, no comment. As we
Go
move on
ahead.
to baseball scores, Baltimore beat Cleveland last night by a score of 8-4. The Dodgers, Kershaw. I saw an interesting stat last night. Kershaw 4 times in his career has gave up 7 runs or more. His very next outing, he pitched a shutout, and last night he did the same thing. He gave up 7 a couple nights ago. Last night 2-0 over the Phillies. Pittsburgh beats Washington 4-3. Toronto over Oakland 3-2. Detroit over Texas 7-2. Cincinnati over St. Louis 5-3. Steve, you got a chance to win a 2 out of 3 series here at the Cardinals.
Never happened.
Milwaukee 9, Miami 5. Tampa Bay in 10 innings beats Boston 1-0. Yes, my Red Sox losers of 8 in a row.
Another shutout.
They got 1 game over 500, and then they've dropped 8 straight to fall further behind in the American League East. Yes, another shutout. Braves beat Colorado 3-2. White Sox, Steve tells me Adam Dunn with a 2-run walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth. Yankees up 5-4. Dunn's home run wins it for the White Sox 6-5. And you said it wasn't just a short one that barely got over either, right?
It was a bomb.
The Angels beat Kansas City by a score of 6-1. It was Seattle over Houston 6-1. San Diego over the Cubs 11-1. San Francisco last night on the West Coast, a winner 6-2 over Minnesota, a game that our friend Mike Powell attended last night. And also the Mets and Arizona are postponed last night. Rain in New York didn't get to play, so they will.
I think it's a doubleheader Sunday.
Doubleheader Sunday. Saw more doubleheaders this year, haven't we, than in recent past. Seems like a lot of rainouts are.
I told David coming over here talking about the Phillies. You associate them with offense and scoring runs. they've been shut out 5 times in the month of May. Just this month, 5 times.
Still got a week to go. Still got a week of May to go. Toronto leads the American League East. They've all of a sudden started playing good. Winners of their 8 of their last 10. The Blue Jays, 27-22. Lead the Orioles by a game and a half. The Yankees by 2. Tampa Bay by 6. And Boston by 6. In the Central Division, it's Detroit 28-16. And all of a sudden, that's not the most wins in the American League anymore. Detroit 28-16. I think Cleveland went in and swept
They did.
the Tigers 3 straight. Or at home,
Detroit
I
had
shouldn't
lost
say
4
went
in a
in.
row
but-
in that span.
Yep, Detroit 28-16. They lead Minnesota by 5.5. White Sox by 6. Kansas City by 6.5, and Cleveland by 7.5. Well, Cleveland winning that series, it was almost do or die for
It
them
was.
already. You know, I mean, if they don't do that, they're sitting at 13 games out right now. So
I think
that's sweet.
Minnesota's
Huge.
manager right now would have to be the manager of the year, having the Twins where they're at.
23 wins. How many players can you name?
Well, I know I know a couple. Kurt Suzuki's the catcher because they run a story on him on the MLB last night.
And Mauer plays first base now.
Moved him to first.
It's hard to name a lot of Minnesota Twins, though. Name me a starting pitcher. Burt Blyleven don't count.
No, I think he might have retired.
Just a while ago.
Burt be home Blyleven, as Boomer would say.
Now, is Ron Gardenhire still the manager for Minnesota?
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen to Jason knocking off that baseball knowledge over there. I like it.
He knows it.
Oakland A's, most wins in the American League. 30 wins. First team in the majors to win 30 games, along with San Francisco, I should say. Actually, Oakland was first because they've lost 2 games in a row. But Oakland 30-18, doing it on a budget, aren't they? Angels 2.5 back, Seattle 5.5 back, Texas 7 back, and the Houston Astros 13.5 games out of first place.
Tell you, the Angels have been
Won 8 out of 10.
Sort of a quiet 26-20.
Won 8 out of 10 too, and you hadn't even heard about them.
And they're starting to get hot. They're starting to hit, and they're supposed to be getting Hamilton back here pretty soon, which I guess that'll help them.
They should. What they're paying him, it better. In the National League, it's the Braves at 27-20 on top in the National League East. Miami is second, 3 games out. There's you another surprise. Miami.
Man, they were hitting a lot of home runs out in that game yesterday. So
I think it was it 9 home runs hit?
Yesterday? In that one game?
Stanton hit 2.
Manager of Miami.
I
I don't know. It's not a trivia question because I don't know.
Gonzalez, he's at
No,
Atlanta.
he's Atlanta. I can't even think.
I don't know, Dave. It's right off.
It's not Ozzy.
No.
Washington is 3.5 out of first place. The Mets 5.5, and Philadelphia 6 games back. Central Division, Milwaukee 29-20. They've cooled off a bit. They've lost 6 out of 10.
Closing in.
Yep, St. Louis is closing in. The Cardinals are 2.5 back. Cincinnati 5.5. Pittsburgh 7, and the Cubs 10.5 games. Here's a positive for the Cubs. They've won half their games in their last 10, 5-5. So, you know, that's an improvement
They've got some
over what the
prospects.
first of the year. Over the first of the year, it's definitely an improvement.
Manager of the Miami Marlins, Mike Redmond.
Mike Redmond. I've heard it, but
Yeah.
we'd have been here all day trying to guess it.
I've never guessed.
San Francisco, the Giants, best record in the National League, 30-18. It's actually identical to Oakland's 30-18. Colorado's 4 back. The Dodgers 4.5. San Diego 8.5, and Arizona 12.5.
How many teams over 500 in that division, Dave?
How many over 500 in that division?
500 or better.
3 of the 5.
Okay. It was, I think, 4.
Well, San Diego now has only won 4 of their last 10. They've lost 6, and they dropped to 22-27. So
Colorado's been a surprise.
by record, your best record in the National League, if you had to go by record, would probably still be that one. Would still be that one because you got 3 teams over 500. Nobody else has that. The Braves and Miami are over 500, but Washington's an even 500. So
Washington is their order is injured.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know how they're.
Harper's out on the deal till what, July, I think.
Zimmerman's out. There's one more. Can't think of. But
American League best division, you probably got, you know, you could pick any of them right now because you got Toronto, Baltimore, and the Yankees all over 500. You got Detroit, Minnesota over 500, the White Sox at 500, and Kansas City just 1 game under, and even last place Cleveland only 3 games under 500. That seems like the most competitive division. And in the West, you've got Oakland and the Angels and Seattle all over 500, and Texas just 2 games under. But your problem with that being your best division, you've got Houston in there.
Texas
brings it down.
Lost Prince Fielder, looks like, for the year.
Yes, it is.
Their top prospect that was supposed to be their second baseman all year, is it Profar?
You say
anyway,
so.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's his name. He's been injured the whole year. They've had pitchers going left and right to the DL. I don't know how they can piece it together.
Well, Kinsler, he had him a good game yesterday, returning back to Texas. I think he was like 3 out of 4.
Well, he's doing that every game,
Yeah.
or every game I see.
Yeah.
He seems like he's tearing it
You know,
up.
the fielder, this
What
is
a
what I was
pickup for
told.
Detroit. Good Lord.
This problem occurred when he was still playing with Detroit. This neck and back problem, herniated disc in his neck, I believe is what it is. And he just sort of tried to play through it, and now it's like one side of his body he don't have any strength in it.
Well, he's never been on a DL in his career.
Never.
And so I think, he's getting a second doctor to look at it, but he may have to have surgery.
I think it's supposed to be Tuesday.
Okay.
And I was looking something up. Who is this you're talking
Prince
about?
Fielder.
Prince Fielder.
Prince Fielder, yeah. I hate stuff like that. Just unfortunate, but I don't know. It seems like stuff like that happens to Texas, don't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like more and more of that kind of stuff happens to the Rangers.
Jay may have to go play first base for the Rangers.
Suit up. That's right. I was trying to find, for the first time this baseball season, I haven't done this yet, trying to find some stats leaders, but internet seems to be giving me fits here this morning. But Terry, the guy you mentioned, Ian Kinsler, 326, along with Robinson Cano, 326, and Miguel Cabrera, 326.
No surprise with Miguel Cabrera.
No, it's not. All those are your top 3 hitters in the American League. I mean, you got three guys at 326, and Alexi Ramirez, he's way back at 325.
Well, that's your
Victor
leader.
Martinez, 323.
326.
I just named 3 Tigers in the top 5.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder
3 Tigers in the top 5.
Like that.
Kinsler, Cabrera, and Martinez, Victor Martinez.
Usually, though, you got 2 or 3 guys that's hitting up in the this time of year
60s.
370 something,
Yeah.
and you're 400, and
Usually the American League's batting leaders.
whole lot higher.
Yeah.
Not right now. Not right now. Who you think's leading the National League in hitting? 377. Yeah.
Colorado player.
Yep. You're right. You were right. Thinking about the thin air.
Yeah, but there's a
Tulowitzki.
difference there, though.
Troy Tulowitzki.
Yeah,
377.
you can have a great hitter there, but then your ERA on your pitching staff
Yeah.
is terrible.
Yeah, and,
Well, I
and that
think you
shows
can-
in their stats. I
Yeah.
mean, it does.
They're claiming that either Troy's or the whole team is stealing signs, which,
Gamesmanship.
you can figure out
Am I right?
what they're calling. I mean,
Yasiel Puig for the Dodgers hitting 343. Chase Utley, Philadelphia, 335. Seth Smith, kind of a quiet 333 for the
Padres.
There you go. Padres. And Yadier Molina. There you go, Brian Hanks. You probably like to hear me say Yadier. Yadier Molina hitting a comfortable 327, a very consistent hitter for the Cardinals.
So he would be leading the American League.
He's a killer of everybody. I mean, he
Do not steal on him.
He gets
Come
some
on.
clutch hits, too. American League home runs, 2 guys tied with 15. Nelson Cruz, Baltimore, Jose Abreu, 15. That's right. Not Bobby Abreu, the elder
Nelson
one, but
Cruz.
Jose.
That's another Texas player that
Gone to Baltimore.
had to get rid of.
Pujols has 13 for the Angels. Edwin Encarnacion has 13 for Toronto. I saw him hit 4 of them in 2 nights in Fenway this week.
Well, he used to be the
2 in
Reds' third
back-to-back
baseman.
nights. He's a heck of a hitter. And then Victor Martinez with 12 home runs. So not only is Martinez hitting 323, he's also 12 homers for the Tigers. Giancarlo Stanton, Miami, 14 home runs. Tulowitzki, 13 home runs. Adrian Gonzalez, 12, he's not even a home run hitter. And he's got 12. Justin Upton, 12. And Mark Reynolds, Milwaukee, with 11 home runs. RBI leaders real quick. It's Nelson Cruz with 43, then Cabrera, Abreu, Brandon Moss, and Encarnacion. National League, it's Stanton leading the way with 47. He leads the majors. Then Puig, Tulowitzki, Gonzalez, and Paul Goldschmidt, who we haven't mentioned. Who's got the most wins in the majors on the mound? You guys want to guess at that? I'll give you. Let you
Say
guess.
somebody from Detroit.
Let you guess at most wins, and no, it's not. He's second. Detroit's got a second guy, and it's not who you think.
Scherzer, probably.
That's the funny thing. But I'll let you guess ERA leader and wins in the National League. National League, no surprise. Two guys tied with 7 wins. Adam Wainwright, St. Louis. Zach Greinke for the Dodgers. American League, it's Mark Burley. 8 wins for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, he still pitch.
Rick Porcello is your Detroit Tiger.
wow.
I did not say Justin Verlander or Max Scherzer. I said Rick Porcello. 7 wins for the
They
Tigers.
didn't get him in that trade with Washington, did they?
If they did, they came out good, didn't they?
Hey,
King
wasn't such a bad
Felix,
trade.
Felix Hernandez, C.J. Wilson, and James Shields all have 6 wins in the American League. It is Kyle Lose, Alfredo Simon, and Shelby Miller with 6 wins in the National League. Another Cardinal on
You
that
said
list
Simon?
right there. Yes, Alfredo Simon, Cincinnati, your red leg.
He's supposed to be one of them guys that they put in when the game's either out of hand, just eat up innings, and because of injuries, he had to go to the starting rotation. Now you better not get him out.
ERA leaders real quick. Sonny Gray is your ERA leader in the American League with the Oakland A's, a 1.99. Jeff Samardzija, former wide receiver for Notre Dame, leading ERA in the National League, a Cub, lowest ERA, 1.46. And what did Garza tell him to do this week?
I guess basically pitch bad so you can get out of
Pitch your way out of Chicago.
I don't think he's got a win,
A
does he?
former teammate told him to pitch his way out of Chicago. A 1.46 ERA. I don't have his wins right in front
I
of
don't
me,
think he
but
does.
you may be right.
think
Saves
he'll
leader
win.
Glenn Perkins has 14 for Minnesota. Terry, your guy's second. Greg Holland 13 saves for the Royals. Francisco Rodriguez leads the way in saves for the who? You know, Steve, I saw you shaking your head there. Milwaukee Brewers. Francisco Rodriguez, 17 saves, followed by Sergio Romo, San Francisco, Kenley Jansen, the Dodgers, Rosenthal, St. Louis, and Houston Street, Colorado. So there's a rundown of the Major League stats and the standings. We'll take a timeout. Back with more sports talk here in a moment.
The money you save in your savings accounts earns interest, so it just makes sense to have your checking account also earn interest for you. A money market checking account pays interest and also offers the flexibility of writing checks. Certain fees may apply.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community minded just like you.
Community minded, just like you.
Ralph Jolly, a senior and member of the football and track teams at Shelby High School, is the McDonald's WHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete of the Month. Ralph has earned a 4.1594 grade point average at Shelby while taking numerous advanced placement and honor classes. Ralph is a member of the Beta Club, National Honor Society, Interact Club, Principal Advisory Board, and Young Life at Shelby High School. Upon graduation from Shelby High, Ralph plans to attend Gardner-Webb University and major in exercise science. He plans to play football as well at Gardner-Webb. Ralph is the son of Daniel and Cola Jolly of Shelby. Among his community activities, Ralph is a YMCA volunteer, a Shelby High School youth football camp volunteer, and a 4th grade mentor at Jefferson School. The McDonald's WHS What's Up Shopper Scholar Athlete Award is sponsored by the McDonald's restaurants in Shelby and Kings Mountain, WHS, and the What's Up Shopper. The purpose of the award is to recognize a student athlete not only for accomplishments in athletics, but also for achievements in the classroom and overall school and community citizenship. Come check out the great food on the dinner menu at Divots Bistro at the Cherryville Country Club. From delicious appetizers to salads, burgers, specialty sandwiches to local favorites. And Divots Bistro at the Cherryville Country Club was recently voted one of the top 5 places to eat in Gaston County. And try the Big Sunday Buffet. Get a choice of 3 meats, 4 sides, drink, and dessert. All at Divots Bistro at the Cherryville Country Club, open to the public, located at 200 Club Drive off the Roy Acre Road in Cherryville.
Who better to turn to for life insurance than someone who's already part of your life? Your State Farm agent has been there for everything from your first car
Hi, this is Steven. My dad's car got a dent.
to your first home.
Hi, this is Steven. You know that hailstorm last night?
So when it comes time for life insurance,
Hi, it's Steven. We had a boy, Stevie Jr.
turn to somebody who's been there all along. Call your State Farm agent about life insurance today.
See Robin Brackett, State Farm Insurance Agency at 941 East Marion Street in Shelby. Call 704-487-6855.
In the Gospels of Matthew, Luke, and John, we are called to forgive others, and God will forgive us. I find that I can forgive others, and I can ask God to forgive me, but sometimes I find it hard to forgive myself. If you are struggling with forgiveness, as we all do, come to Ryan Heights United Methodist Church and hear of the Lord's grace, mercy, and forgiveness. I'm inviting you to come and worship with us Sundays at 11. I am Kathy Maccabee, pastor of Ryan Heights United Methodist Church, and we are located on Madison Street, just up from Betty Ross Park.
Wasn't born for digging deep holes. I'm not made for paving long roads. I ain't cut out to climb highline poles, but I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David, Jason, Terry, Steve, here with you in the studio, talking a little bit of sports this morning and what's going on, talking about the NBA, the upcoming draft, the Cleveland Cavaliers. I tell you what, Cleveland has been in the sports spotlight now for about 3 weeks. You know, and we'll find out how they can handle it and whether they can make good of it or whatever. But of course, the first thing happened for them is getting Johnny Manziel. And now what's going to happen? They won the lottery the other night. They got the big card that says you get the first pick in the NBA draft coming up next month. And third out of fourth year, three out of 4 years.
Yes, going to get Joel Embiid, and then they're going to get LeBron to come back, and you're going to have Johnny Manziel and LeBron in the same town marketing.
Well,
that's what they're.
What do you guys give a percentage or a 1 to 10 scale that could happen?
LeBron coming back to Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't know.
1.
Mine's
That low?
low. I'd
You
go
think
10.
he's going to stay in Miami
But,
or go to somewhere else?
Look, Miami wins the if Miami wins the title, they're not breaking this group up. They'll stay together. Even if they don't win this title, LeBron knows Pat Riley will do what he needs to do to put a team around him. Why? Well, that's the best situation. Where else are you going to go? I mean, you want to go and rebuild, start over, try to rebuild the chemistry with
Well, a
someone
lot of
else in a different
times
city?
after a player's won multiple championships, then they start looking at these outrageous salary that they can get somewhere else.
But these guys all they took
Already
less,
getting outrageous salary.
they took less to get the form together, and they could even to keep it all together again. They can decide to take less again. I mean,
But he can opt out after
him,
next year,
LeBron, D Wade, and Bosh can all opt out after this season because that's in their contracts, which they all could do. If anyone's going to leave, I could see it being Bosh, just because he's underappreciated and what he brings to the table. And he was a 20 and 10 guy up in Toronto. He the one that sacrificed his game the most when he came to Miami, and I could see him going somewhere wanting to be the man again. It wouldn't be surprising.
I would like all them rings they're winning there, and he is a vital part of.
Oh,
their
that's
team.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh yes. You need a big 3, you give it to him.
I just give him a little higher chance
Chance
of
for LeBron.
leaving. I'd say 40% for
Just
LeBron
because he's
leaving.
from
Yeah,
Ohio.
and maybe he feels like he owes it to him because he did leave them to go. And they, you know what, if they add a guy, they're going to add a guy because they got that pick in the draft. Here's what some people are saying though: would you, if you were the GM for Cleveland, would you trade that pick to Minnesota for Kevin Love if they were willing to do that and he comes signs long term?
But yeah, that's the thing. Can they get him to sign long term? That would be the question. And with him, I don't know if he feel like Cleveland would be a better situation than what he left leaving in Minnesota. I mean, it's basically the same. A young group of guys. Same type.
They supposed to have a lot of talent, a lot of pieces.
We'd have Kyrie getting him the ball.
That's who they're going to go ask anyway. Who do you need?
Well, and then the rumor
About like the
is
Laker deal.
for a coach, they're talking to Billy Donovan.
Yeah, Billy Donovan.
Even though he says he's not looking to
This will be
leave.
the second straight year that they've gone after. They would try to get Izzo and now Donovan. And if you're Mike Brown, I mean, dang, you got fired by the same team twice within a 5-year period. You've been fired 3 times in like 5 years.
I'd move.
I know you collecting them contracts. You still collecting money off them contracts, so that's looking nice. But I don't think I ever want to. If Cleveland ever comes calling you again, just turn that down. Unless you're gonna become
Hang
the Billy,
up on 'em.
you're gonna become the Billy Martin of the NBA.
Well, it was a big night last night in high school sports. We want to get into our high school segment here and talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of high school sports. As I said, we had a couple teams from our area, baseball and softball, that will move on, and then we had some local teams that saw the end of the road come last night. We'll talk about those games in a minute, but first, Terry's got the scores.
All right, and we're going to start off in softball-wise. In the 1A softball yesterday, in the East, it was Princeton over Camden County 6-4, and Whiteville over Granville Central 3-1. In the West brackets, it was North Stokes going to 25-2 on the year with a 3-2 win over East Wilkes. They will play Hiwassee Dam, 23-2 winner record, but they won the game 2-1 over Lincoln Charter. Hiwassee Dam 2, Lincoln Charter 1. In the 2A bracket, in the East, it was Northeastern defeating Beddingfield 4-2, and Jordan Matthews over South Columbus 6-1. In the West bracket, it is Forbush defeating West Stanley 4-1. East Rutherford goes to 23-2 with a 5-1 win over Madison. In the 3A brackets, in the East, it was CB Aycock 3, West Brunswick 0, and it was South Johnston 2, Cleveland 1. In the West, it was Sun Valley going to 22-4 with an 8-4 win over North Lincoln. Inca defeated Pisgah 6-5. In the 4A softball in the East, it was Cape Fear defeating Richmond 2-1, and it was Middle Creek over West Johnston 5-4. In the West bracket, it was North Davison going to 30-0 on the year with a 5-0 win over Northwestern Guilford. And it was Alexander Central going to 32-0 with a 10-3 win over Lake Norman. The Western Division there, North Davison at 30-0 will play Alexander Central at 32-0. In the baseball, in the 1A, in the East, it was Rosewood defeating Pergolins 4-2, and it was Whiteville over Voyager Academy 5-0. Steve, that's your team, Voyager Academy. Yeah. In the West, it was East Surrey going to 28-0 as they defeat Albemarle 3-1. It was Hayesville defeating Cherville last night 6-3. Hayesville 20-2 on the year. In the 2A baseball in the East, it was North Lenoir defeating Currituck 4-2, and it was Midway over Randleman 9-5. In the West, it was East Davison defeating West Stanley 4-0, and they will face Bunker Hill, who is 24-5 on the year, with a 1-0 win over Smoky Mountain. Smoky Mountain made it to the 4th round. They are 11-15 on the year for that squad. In the 3A, in the East, it was Topsail defeating CB Aycock 1-0, and it was South Johnston over Southwestern Randolph 13-7. In the West bracket, it is Piedmont over Carson 4-0, and they will face Burns. Burns is 23-4 on the year with a 5-1 win over North Buncombe. In the 4A baseball in the East, it was Richmond over Rose 8-4, and it was Millbrook over Panther Creek 5-0. In the West, it was West Forsyth going to 25-5 on the year with a 2-0 win over R.J. Reynolds, and they will face off against Providence. Providence is 26-4 on the year. They defeated Audrey Kell 1-0. And those are your softball and baseball scores from Friday night and Thursday night, because Alexander Central did play on Thursday.
Thank you, Terry. I run down to the scores yesterday, and first I want to start off. Congratulations to local team here, Burns. The Bulldogs yesterday getting a huge win. If I'm not mistaken, I saw that this North Buncombe team that they beat yesterday on the road was at one time nationally ranked this year. North Buncombe went into this game with a 25-3 record. Yesterday is just their 4th loss of the season. And the pitcher that Burns had to go face, I was trying to find some stats on him, but been unable to do that. But I will tell you this, it was trying to find my spot here. Caleb Burnham was your starting and winning pitcher for Burns last night. He went, I want to say, 5 2/3 in that game before the relief pitcher came in and closed things out. Alec Bivens came in and closed things out for Burns. But 2 hits is all those 2 guys allowed in that game against a very good North Buncombe team. And while Burns did a good job of scoring some runs early, jumping out in front. Pitching and defense. We know when you get to this point, most of the time that's what gets you to and wins you championships. And a good job by Burns to do that as well. The Burns Bulldogs 23-4 now on the season, 23-4, and Coach David Wise doing a terrific job with this team and getting them to a Western Regional.
I was going to say it's the coaches.
I would like to know, too, because has Burns made it this far before? If anybody knows, you can shoot me a text or an email. My email is kieverdavid@yahoo.com.
I don't remember.
Has Burns made it to the Western Regional Finals before as a baseball program? This is deep, and this is this is a hard place to get. And here's the funny thing about the baseball playoffs: you win 4 games, you got to win 4 to get to the finals of the West, and then you got to win 4 more to be state champs.
Yeah.
The only difference is you get an opportunity that you can lose a game. In both of those series. Those next 2 will be 2 out of 3 series, so you do get to the opportunity where you can lose a game and still be alive with a chance to win. So you guys said it this morning. I don't remember if we were on the air yet or hadn't gone on yet, but one of you said we get to find out now because it's not going to come down to one pitcher.
Right.
You pretty much find out now in these 2 out of 3s most of the time anyway, who does have the best team. The best team, and maybe not just that one.
Pitching.
Yeah, maybe not just that one ace pitcher that can get you something by and because let's face it, right now, if you got the one ace pitcher, he can pitch both games for you during the week because you've got 12 innings.
12 innings, 72 hours rest.
Yeah, but usually they're going Tuesday and Friday, so you got 72 hours. You can start over, so you get 12 innings again each start. So. But I like it. I like the fact there are some coaches that don't like the fact that it's not 2 out of 3 from the beginning, which would make it tough. It'd be a lot more games and stuff. But I think you would get the better team winning if you do play a series. I've talked about this before. Just to compare it, NCAA tournament and NBA playoffs are so different. So different because you got a series in the NBA. You're not going to see near as many upsets in the NBA playoff with a series, and you're not going to see them in baseball much either in the majors with series. Just don't see them much. But one and dones, you will see some upsets, especially if that basketball shooter's hot that particular night, or if that pitcher for that particular baseball team is on fire and shutting people down.
Well, that's the same thing as that. Excuse me, Terry. The Legion, American Legion baseball used to be like the best 4 out of 7, and usually the best team wins. Now it's, you get hot over a 3 or 4 day period
and win a tournament,
win the whole thing.
Well, I'd like to go back. I mean, we spoke of Bunker Hill defeating Smoky Mountain. I'd like to see if the same pitcher pitched every game for Smoky Mountain. I mean, they finished the year 11-15, and they lost yesterday 1-0. And I'd like to see if that was the same pitcher that pitched every one of them for the first 4 rounds.
Yep. Well, I can tell you this much: left-hander Clay Irvin pitched yesterday. Pitched for Bunker Hill.
Sophomore.
A sophomore pitching in a game that big. That's what I was going to say. A sophomore pitching in a game that big. Now, just scamming through the article here in the Hickory Daily Record today by W.D. Fisher. I've yet to run across who the pitcher was for Smoky Mountain, but I do know this. I know the pitcher for them against East Lincoln on last Friday was a young man by the name of Cal Riley. But the problem is I can't tell you if he pitched 4 days ago in the Tuesday game against Franklin, a game Smoky Mountain won 4-2. So I don't know if he pitched in that one or not. Says here, a hard luck loser for Smoky Mountain yesterday was Jace Milkey. So no, they did the same thing. How about that? A sophomore as well. So sophomore versus sophomore yesterday in that Bunker Hill Smoky Mountain matchup. I think both those teams, not only are they good right now, but got pretty good futures as well.
Another Cleveland County team did real well in the playoffs was Crest.
They did.
It went over to North Gaston and just smoked them to the
as an underdog.
And then they went somewhere Where'd they play at in the middle, first of the week? It went 12 or 13 innings before they finally lost. But, you know, they've had a real good year.
They have. They did have a real good year. And I'm going to tell you this, too. Cherville Ironman, you had a terrific year. I don't hang your heads at all. 6-3 loss yesterday at Hayesville. You know, everybody knows the tradition of Cherville baseball, but I'll tell you right now, Hayesville has a pretty good one, too. And these teams, it's the fourth time now these teams have met in the playoffs, and the home teams won. Every time it's 2-2 between them. Hayesville this year moves to 20-2 on the season. Now Cherville 21-7. That's a really nice season. 21-7, especially with some of the competition they play outside the conference. And that conference was pretty good this year too, as we saw Pine Lake Prep make it to the third round. So
Highland Tech made it
Highland
to the
Tech,
third round.
Yep. It's a pretty good league, and they played some good competition.
Well, Hayesville knocked out Highland Tech first of the week.
Right.
If Highland Tech had won, they would have played Cherville last night in Cherville.
How about
I
that?
think that game was 5-0.
Is that what it was?
I think it was.
I just want to mention this. Tyler Leak was the winning pitcher for Hayesville last night. 7-1 now on the season. ERA 0.88 for Tyler Leak. That's what I say. 185 miles, it says here in Phil Gardner's article in the Gazette today. 185-mile bus charter trip that took longer than expected because of construction along the way. Cherville fell behind in the game, guys, 3-0, but came back and tied it at 3-3. But then when they fell behind 6-3, it says they were just unable to come back again against Tyler Leak. He was just pretty impressive, I think, pretty dominant throughout the game from what I understand by reading bits and pieces of
Is that a wear and tear on your team?
Riding like that.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and then
it's got to take a little bit out of you.
It's got to. I mean, you know, just sitting in traffic waiting for them to let you go.
Well,
everybody's a little anxious to get there, and then it's taking a little bit longer than you thought. And
most of the time, the baseball teams just take the regular activity buses.
Well, they do.
You know, it's not like a nice charter bus where you got a seat you kind of lay back in.
They did take charter.
Did they?
Yes.
In 11 years, these two teams have met in the playoffs now 4 times. Hayesville won in 04, and now in 14, Cherville won in 08 and 09. So a lot of meetings between these two teams. 7 Cherville seniors played their last game yesterday for the Cherville Ironman. Names that most folks listening will recognize: Austin Wilkinson, Beam. I can't recall. It's just got the last name here because Tyler Beam. Excuse me. There we go. As played his last game. Casey Buff, Clay Fuller, Jonathan Carpenter, Caleb Nairn, and Dylan Harris, all seniors on this Cherville team. But hey, a nice career. A nice career and a very nice season. There's like Coach Scotty Hebner said in his article, these guys have nothing to be ashamed of at all, and I think he said that. I think that can be taken to heart. He also said the further you go, the harder it is because you see what's out there in front of you, and he's talking about the harder it is to lose in the playoffs. Further you go, the harder it is, and I understand that. Sometimes it's really tough, and it makes that much tougher when you have 7 kids that played their last high school game, and I would agree as well. But you know what? They'll look back and realize a very nice career at Cherville, and I think they'll look back at the 2014 season as well and be pleased with what they accomplished. A lot of teams would like to have been sitting where they were yesterday playing in that 4th round.
Well, at Cherville, baseball, you know.
Well, it's win or bust.
Well, yeah.
You know, and there's a lot of programs like that. It's win or bust.
The state championships that they won. And
I'd say the same goes for Coach Reynolds and his crowd over at East Rutherford. You know, it's win or bust. And you know what? Hey,
Shelby in football.
I'll tell you this much too. Be proud you play in a program that it's win or bust.
Oh, yes.
It's state championship or nothing. Be glad you play in that kind of program, because that says a lot about your program and how far and the things it's accomplished throughout the years.
You know, there's a lot of schools. It's like as long as we can beat one of our biggest rival,
we're happy.
You know, it's a
county
successful
thing.
season. It don't matter if you win the conference or make the state or win the state. It's just beating that one team.
Yep, I'd agree. And then you got your teams that it's all about once the playoffs start, how far can we go? And hey, we've in every sport sitting here in our chairs this morning where we are, kind of centrally located with Cleveland, Gaston, Lincoln, Catawba counties. We have been fortunate to see a lot of our teams in every sport, go deep, go a long way. We didn't mention that Shelby, runner-up in golf, state championship a couple weeks ago. Forest View, state champion.
Yes.
Newton Conover, 2A golf champion, state
Yes.
champion. So we've got a lot of good going on in our area. The Friday kid winning 3 state titles. I'm hearing he may make the Olympics. That he's on pace to make the next Olympic team. So a lot of good athletes, a lot of good teams in our area, and we're fortunate that we get to
Every sport.
Yep, we're fortunate we get to be in an area where there is lots going on, in a lot of good ways. We'll take a time out. We'll be back with more sports talk here in a moment.
Johnny was a schoolboy when he heard his first Beatles song. We're community minded. We believe in what we do. We love this town. We live in just like you.
We're a community bank. That's why we always try to approach things from a community-minded point of view. When something is in the best interest of the communities we serve, it's good for us as well. We're community-minded, just like you.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community minded, just like you.
We're community minded. Just like you.
The Round Man, Okie Knipe, invites you into Okie's Tire and Service Center for all your tire and auto service needs. Okie gives you the best value in tires, both new and used tires, and they'll mount and balance your tires free. Come into Okie's Service Center for all your service needs, including radiator flush, brakes, tune-ups, oil changes, and state inspections. Serving Cleveland County since 1978. That's right, over 35 years. Okie's Tire and Service Center, 800 West Warren Street in Shelby. Apply today, ride today at Full Throttle Power Sports in Gastonia. Good credit, bad credit, no credit, Full Throttle Power Sports can help. Ask about zero money down and rates as low as 2.99%. Pick up this week's What's Up Shopper for all the great buys this month. Again, zero money down and rates as low as 2.99%. Apply today, ride today. Full Throttle Power Sports. Exit 22 off I-85 in Lowell. Online at ncfullthrottle.com.
Elliott Supply is your Husqvarna sales and service dealer in Cleveland County. Bob, Hilda, and Ben Elliott invite you in to see their selection of Husqvarna lawnmowers, chainsaws, trimmers, blowers, edgers, and more. Elliott Supply has parts and oil for you as well. Their service department does all kinds of repair work and does Husqvarna warranty work as well. Your full-service Husqvarna dealer in Cleveland County is Elliott Supply, Highway 182 in Polkville.
Hello, this is Milton Baker.
And I'm Sandy Alexander.
You're invited to join us for the Community Profile on Big O Country.
We talk to community leaders. We talk about events coming up.
And we'll talk to your friends and neighbors who make or do interesting things.
The show airs at 10:08 Monday through Wednesday. We would love to hear from you.
Do you know a person or have a topic in mind for the Community Profile? Let us know.
And thanks for listening to Big O Country and the Community Profile.
There was a time I could drink my cares away and drown out all of the heartaches that hurt me night and day. When the thought of you came crashing through, I'd have one more. But now the whiskey ain't working anymore.
All right, welcome back to Sports Talk. David Keever, Steve K, Terry Reinhardt, Jason Barber with you. Beautiful Saturday morning outside. Not quite as hot today as we have experienced over the last few days. And get out there and enjoy it because it won't be long till it'll be so hot.
Humidity will be up later.
Won't be long till it'll be so hot you can't stand it outside. So you might
It was kind of hot yesterday.
Oh yeah, it was. And I think even earlier in the week, had some humidity and
Up around 90 one day.
I don't think we actually made it, but I think we got very close.
88, I believe.
89.9
Yeah.
one day. But that's pretty close, right?
Yeah.
Talking about high school sports this morning. I don't have it right in front of me. I wish I did have some information, but good job. I didn't. Terry gave the score, but I did not say congratulations, East Rutherford Lady Cavaliers and their win. That's going to play Forbush now. Did you give all the matchups and how they'll be?
Yes.
We know they're playing Forbush.
I gave the East and the West.
And Burns is going to be playing Piedmont in a
Now
2 out of 3.
Piedmont was a 3. I mean, they got the
Right.
lowest.
Well, I tell you what, they've had a
but
good
that's
run
not-
the last 5-7 years. Piedmont's been strong in
They must
baseball,
have moved
2A
up.
and now 3A.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yep. East Lincoln played them a year or two ago.
And West, I think.
Yeah,
I
West
think
did
both
too.
did.
Yeah,
I
so
think
did.
both East and West Lincoln played them, but and then Bunker Hill will be playing East Davidson in the 2A West Regional Finals. Just trying to get our local teams in here.
Well, I mean, let me just run down the West.
Yeah.
Okay. In baseball, it'll be East Surrey going against Hayesville.
In 1A.
Yes. In 2A, it'll be East Davidson against Bunker Hill. And then in 3A, you'll have Piedmont against Burns. And in the 4A, you'll have West Forsyth against Providence. And then in softball-wise, in the 1A, you'll have North Stokes up against Hiwassee Dam. And then you'll have Forbush playing East Rutherford. And in 3A, it will be Sun Valley going against Inca. And 4A, North Davison will play Alexander Central. And those are the two right there that 30-0 against 32-0 in that game.
I think I also noticed that the team that the 1A teams, Hayesville's got 2 losses, but I think the other team's undefeated that they will face. Who is it they're going to take on now?
East Surrey's 28-0.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's 2 impressive records, really. I mean, only 2 losses between the teams all season long, and one sitting there at 28-0. And now, that makes me think of a team that, might have some deep pitching if you're able to go 28-0 because, well, obviously they don't have a pitcher with a loss, do they?
That's exactly. Yes.
I'm pretty
whole
sure.
staff
I'm
must
pretty
be.
sure. I'm pretty sure
Well-
they don't have a pitcher with a loss. But then again, you wonder how
You know what
often
competition
how
you're
often your best pitcher throws.
Right.
Which he might have started 18 of those 28.
Well, I want to say something, too, and we speak of Alexander Central. Well, they won Thursday night, and Kiana Millsaps pitched the game, and they are 32-0 on the year. She's 16-0, so that means they've got more than one pitcher
Got
that
another
steps
one
out
that's
there
16-0.
that mound, for them. So, that's when I'm not relying just on one pitcher to get me all the way.
They probably got 4 or 5.
Well, they probably do. And another thing I want to mention, the West Lincoln Rebels girls softball had a
Oh,
great
yeah.
year.
Bowed out on
Throw them
Tuesday.
out to East Rutherford, 8-3.
Bowed out on
But,
Tuesday.
Coach, he did a great job, and his staff and his girls, and they did a fantastic season.
Well, they're
for the
pretty
West
young,
Lincoln
too,
Rebels.
aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they're very young.
Oh.
I mean, Player of the Year was Cassidy Wise, and, she's only a sophomore.
Right. And a real good freshman on that team as
Oh,
well.
yeah. Kylie Linhart.
Mm-hmm. So, congratulations to Tyler Sane and his team as well on a
Coach of the Year.
really good season as well. Terry, you went to the Charlotte Motor Speedway last Saturday, or somebody sent you a picture one.
Well, my daughter went to the Charlotte Motor Speedway. And she was daggum sending me a photo of when they having the race for the $1 million and come flying into the pits. That was a lot of interesting stuff. I was sitting there watching it on television, and I even told her as soon as Dale Jr. was the first one to be able to stop on time without going through his pits, I even said, Dale's the man. He didn't win the race. McMurray won the race, so $1 million for him. But
and tomorrow is the big race,
Yes.
of course, the Indianapolis 500. Oh, wait a minute.
yeah, that's Kurt Busch. He'll
Yeah,
think
he's doing
about
a double
that.
dip.
Yeah.
Is he?
Kurt,
Yes,
yeah.
he's doing both of them.
Okay. And a couple people have done that before, right?
Tony Stewart.
Tony,
Yes, yeah.
Tony Stewart.
But in Charlotte, what's it called?
Coca-Cola 600.
Okay, I
still.
wanted to make sure it
It's
was
one of
still the
yes,
Coca-Cola 600 before I used the wrong sponsor there. But start time?
Usually around
like
5 or 6 o'clock.
That's what I'm getting ready to say. I think it's probably going to be like.
And is
6
Indy at
o'clock, something
noon
like that.
or 1?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say 1 o'clock.
Pre-race stuff starts like 11.
Give me a pick to win tomorrow in Charlotte, guys.
I tell you, it's gonna come down to 2 drivers usually. Casey Kane or Jimmy Johnson. They always seem to win in Charlotte. Doesn't make a difference.
Henderson McMurray
And Johnson has
runs
not
good
won a
down
race
there.
yet this year.
No.
Is that right?
Nope.
Johnson
Yeah.
has not won a race yet this
Better
year.
keep out on Kevin Hart.
Kevin Harvick, McMurray always runs good in Charlotte.
California
you know.
Chrome.
Yeah, well, me and you sent text back, and he said, "Well, that's
they can get out there. They horse might have trouble trying to navigate."
They need to go ahead. As many cautions they are in racing, if the horse can just keep going during the caution,
Yeah.
he might be okay. He might be okay. He might be able to withstand the full day. So, you know, I talked with some folks this week about the race. The crowds haven't been what they have been in the past in NASCAR, and I think they have
across the board.
And they have, I think they have an area shut down, even for tomorrow's race, a closed area. One of the turns is shut down at the speedway because. Here, let me ask you: is interest just gone down? Is the tickets price people out of going?
I think it's
too much other
combination
stuff to do.
Of all that, plus the races are on TV,
Yeah,
and
no.
you don't have to stand in line and you're at home, you know, to get to the restroom or get something to eat or.
According to where you
It's
live.
got them packed. It used to be, yeah. Well, there you go. It used to be so packed in. I mean, you couldn't even bring a cooler in unless it was so, you know, so small.
Yeah, they still measure it. Yeah, you still have to ring us. No,
I hadn't been in
Well,
so many years. I don't even.
I don't know. When I think of stuff like that, I start thinking about a lot of sponsors are not there no more. So,
Yeah.
and another thing, and then how they run. And if my driver's already won a race, and we spoke of this a few weeks back, he
already
really
in the
don't have to. Yeah, he's already in the chase. He don't have to race no more. So is that taking people away? You know, and now the NFL's coming up where they're going to expand their playoffs. Is this going to take more stuff away? It's almost like the NBA. If you are 500 or above, you make the playoffs. You're in. I mean,
Well-
are we depleting a lot of stuff to where the regular season means nothing?
Well, the more teams you have in the playoffs, the less the regular season means. I mean, it's like you say. Seems like some leagues, half the teams make it or more.
Yeah, and especially in the NBA. I just think the NBA has too many teams that make it in there. I mean, and if I'm San Antonio, well, all we got to do is be 500 or close to it. Especially in the West, you better be a little over 500 to make it there. But in the East, you just finished 500.
Yeah, if you're 500, you're gonna make it. But you know, we talked about even in the NBA, the first round, all these game sevens and how many overtimes. It's like it looked like we was gonna have a team that you didn't think would be in there, but when we get down to the final 4 teams, guess what?
Number one versus number two, number two in both sides.
Yeah.
I'm gonna drop back for a few minutes ago. We were discussing our high school teams that have advanced and going to the Western Finals, and asking you shall receive. Burns Bulldogs, I asked about, had they ever been this far? Thank you, Richard Howe. It happened to even be when he was coaching the team back in 2001. They went to the 2A West Finals, but did get beat by the eventual state champion Franklin. That's back when Burns had Adam McSwain, Adam Floyd, Jason Gold, Jonathan Darnell. A lot of names on that.
I wonder if back then if they did 2 out of 3, if it was just one game. It's probably one game then. Which
I think it was 2 out of 3 then.
Then?
Think so. I don't know how far back you have to go. I'm not sure.
I don't
I don't know
either.
how far back you have to go.
That was a good team though.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. Butch Parker sends me a picture of himself this morning, Jeff Hammond, at the Speedway.
Yeah, NASCAR on Fox analyst.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, yeah.
I as most people would say, who is that guy with Butch Parker? But nice picture there, Coach. Appreciate you tuning in this morning, listening to that. And yes, a race fan there as well. We talk about racing. Our friend George Dixon wants to weigh in. The Monaco Grand Prix starts tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Sunday is annually the greatest day in motorsports if you're a fan. So
It's true.
lots of racing going on tomorrow.
I see a lot of people watch it. How many girls are in the Indy? Did any qualify?
I don't know.
So I don't know that neither. They usually are one or two. That
Yeah,
make
but
it.
they
Don't look my way.
Haven't heard the
Yeah.
publicity on it. 'Cause usually you hear the
Don't look my way. That would definitely be a question that I
Well,
wouldn't be able to
Patrick
answer.
doesn't race
No.
that anymore.
No.
So
talking about the Grand Prix test we got. Remember they being up in Michigan?
Yep.
We seen the
Yeah,
Grand Prix
we're in
come?
Detroit, and they were running one.
Yeah.
Running one that day, the
Yeah.
Sunday after the Appalachian victory over the Michigan Wolverines. They were running one. Had to, half the streets
Yeah.
Downtown
blocked
Detroit.
off,
Cut off.
in the city. Speaking of Detroit, did you see the news this morning? So the river up there, they pulled 15 cars out yesterday. Have to check and see what that's all about. still a pretty rough town to visit.
Yes, it is.
So, you guys, what were you guys talking about? I was reading all those texts. Are you talking about expanded playoffs? Is it watering it down? Were you talking about football?
Yeah,
Well,
we was
now-
talking about
now-
every sport.
The
you
NFL
know?
might be going to an extra team on each side next
Major League
year.
Baseball.
Only way the
thing,
Dallas
you know,
Cowboys
they-
can get in the playoffs. Right?
Well, maybe that may not. Then
That's not bad.
here's one reason I'm for adding one more team. Your owner made a good point, Jerry Jones. The wild card teams have done well when they got there. Wild card teams have done pretty well when they got there. It comes right off mine. I know Pittsburgh won all the way, won a Super
Green
Bowl,
Bay.
winning all their games on the road. Green Bay won the Super Bowl as a wild card.
Baltimore.
And the last 2 years, guys, we've had 10-win teams that didn't get in.
yeah, that's true.
Last year, Arizona won 10. They could have won 11. They could have won their final game. They lost on the final Sunday. If they had won, they still wouldn't have been in the playoffs with 11 wins. But now maybe we need to tweak the system and not let 8-8 division winners in, or even 9-7 division winners in if they don't qualify. But the year before that, it was the Bears, and got Lovie Smith fired.
So the year
10-6,
the year
didn't make the
Tom
playoffs
Brady-
and got fired.
The year Matt Castle took over starting quarterback position for New England, they won 11 games, didn't make the playoffs that year.
So
If you're a fan of the sport and you like watching games, you got to vote for more playoff teams.
Well,
I mean,
you're
Well,
talking
I
about
see
the
don't
division
overdo
winners
it, but one more is fine.
not getting
I think,
in.
and only give that one team a bye in each
Just
conference.
make it the NFC, Eastern Division, and Western Division, and then picks up so many
go by
teams.
best
'cause
record, basically.
If you're going to do that, otherwise, I'm just saying if it's Central winner is 8-8, and like he's talking about a
Well, remember
second or third place team in another division.
But
they
how
don't
will you
get in.
keep your big rivals intact by
tiebreaker-
doing that?
The tiebreaker categories.
I guess you could leave the schedule alone. You could leave your schedule alone and say, Dallas, you'll still play the Redskins, Eagles, Giants twice, but you'll be in the East, and it all depends on where you stack up in that East. And also in there with you is going to be the South, which is going to be New Orleans, Atlanta, Carolina, and Tampa, and you'll play your rivals twice. But
When I look at this, I keep going back, and I'm coming all the way back to high schools. And this is not, I guess, not a good thing to say, but it's so watered down now that you've got teams that make playoffs. Now, it's not how many times you made the playoffs. It's how many times you've been in, because you're going to get in. If you have a decent season, whether you're good or not, you make the playoffs. I mean, is it about your school saying, okay, they've been to the playoffs 4 straight years? But previously, before they expanded everything, this school never made it.
Well, high school, say 1A, I think about all of them make it, don't
Yeah,
they?
about
I mean,
every one of
Close.
them. Yes.
You had a
Very
school that
close.
was 1-22 that made the state playoffs.
I mean, then when you sit back and I say, okay, I'm not naming schools, but say I'm going to play this school. Well, you know what? They've been to the playoffs 10 straight years. But then when you add up their win total, it don't add up to 20.
still have my theory for what I'd like to do with North Carolina high school athletics, and that's go to 5A.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's put your biggest 4A schools in 5A. And it doesn't have to be 20% since you're breaking into 5 groups. Put your biggest 4A schools, because I hate to see a 1,600 student school playing a 3,000 student school in any sport. Okay, and you've got that right now in 4A. So let's put your biggest 4As in 5A. Let's put your smallest schools in 1A. And then let's split the rest of them 33% each in 2A, 3A, 4A.
And put your private and charter schools separate.
Well, if
Oh,
I have my
can
way,
of worms. That's another can of worms.
It
Well,
is.
yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think the majority of your schools would fall in the state of North Carolina would fall between 800 and fall between 800 and 1,600 students. So let's take that group, make them 2A, 3A, 4A, and split them a third in each group, and then make your very smallest schools 1A and your very biggest schools 5A. You know, kind of like South Carolina and their big, not sweet, but Big 16.
You know, you can't make too much sense now.
And if it's all about money for those high school football playoffs, add another round. Take more. You'd actually have more teams in the playoffs because you'd have a second classification and you would double your teams. So just go ahead and have an extra round, and you'd be.
Send that down to Chapel Hill.
I can't. Surely they've thought of that.
No.
You know,
makes too much sense.
Well, you know, I mentioned it a couple nights ago to a couple coaches, and they really like the idea as well. So don't think it'll happen though. Only time will tell. We got to take another time out. We'll be back with more sports talk here right after this break.
Community minded, just like you. Community minded, that's for sure, it's true.
You care about the future of this community. You grew up here. You've raised a family here. Your life is here. So is ours.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC.
Community minded, just like you.
Most drug users make their first contact with illicit drugs through friends. That's why parents are urged to take an active interest in your child's circle of friends. A message in your family's interest brought to you by Walmart Supercenter, where variety is a specialty. For a friendly atmosphere of quality one-stop shopping, there is galore and lots more. Stop in today at Walmart Supercenter, 705 East Dixon Boulevard in Shelby.
Here's what's up in Cleveland, Gaston, and Lincoln counties, brought to you by the What's Up Shopper and Big O Country, WHS, WCSL, and WLON. The Life Enrichment Center Adult Day Health Services presents their third annual golf tournament, Wednesday, June the 11th, at the Deerbrook Golf Course in Shelby. There will be a 9 a.m. shotgun start. Cost is $75 per person, and that includes golf, raffle prizes, and lunch. You can even win a car on the hole-in-one contest. For more information, call 704-867-1283. And the Summer Praise Fest 2014 will be held at the Frontline Worship Center in Stanley, Saturday, June 7th from 4 until 8 o'clock. Admission is free and concessions will be available. 5 big gospel groups will be performing. For more information, call 704-880-0705. And that's What's Up, brought to you by the What's Up Shopper, Big O Country, WHS, WCSL, and WLON. For more information, go to whatsupshopper.com.
At J&D Furniture, guess what? It's time to count again. It's inventory time. Everything is on sale for you till the end of May. So if you buy it now, we don't have to count it. Everything in stock has been marked down. Every lamp, every bedroom suite, every mattress, every sofa and chair, every lazy boy recliner, every dinette set. You get it? Everything is on sale. The inventory sale at J&D Furniture, 9 North Lafayette Street on the square in Uptown Shelby.
There you go, Ann. Your new account is now open. Just one more little thing.
Here's your card.
What was that?
It's my new bank. Every time I turn around, I get hit with another fee.
You need to get an account at Carolina Federal Credit Union.
She's right.
Tired of getting hit by bank fees? Switch to Carolina Federal Credit Union today. Make those pains go away.
Here's your receipt.
Hey, where did we go? Days when the rains came down in the hollow.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David Keever, Jason Barber, Terry Reinhardt, Steve K. Saturday morning, beautiful outside. Should remain that way. Some folks got some rain yesterday, not a lot. Got a lot of wind.
More than
Split
you
up.
want,
Yeah,
I'll
you got a
tell
lot, got a lot of wind and have
Oh,
a tree
yes.
limb falling in your front yard.
Did you?
Yes.
Our
I had
front
a
yard
tree
looked
fell
like
over.
Hugo
Did you?
came through.
Well, a small one, but
Oh no, we had
it needed to go.
That was just a
anyway.
branch flew
Well,
off
it
the
needed
tree.
to go.
It was rather windy, yesterday morning. What was that, around 10:30?
Yeah, it got
something
Yep.
like
I was
that.
at work looking out the window, got dark all of a sudden there, down in Charlotte. It was thought it was going to storm up something, but it just passed through. But yeah, come home last night and big old nice tree limb off in the front yard.
You move it?
Nah, it's gonna take a good chainsaw.
Oh, well, it that big.
Yeah. So that's how we spending my Memorial Day.
Yeah, there you go. What was you going to say, Steve? You have something? Thought you was getting ready to talk.
Yeah.
We want to, again, mention folks maybe just got up this morning. The baseball, softball teams, East Rutherford girls a winner. They advance to the next round. North Lincoln lost their game. Lincoln Charter also lost their game yesterday. Some local teams. It was the Burns Bulldogs baseball team getting to the regionals with the win yesterday at North Buncombe. A nice win for them. And also the Bunker Hill Bears, their 1-0 win over Smoky Mountain yesterday pushes them into the 2A Western Regional Finals. Tough luck for Cherryville. They travel to Hayesville and fall by a score of 6-3, but still a very good season, 21-7 for the Ironmen on the season. So nothing to hang your head about right there, and I'm sure they'll bounce back and be ready to go again next season. Legion baseball in our area. Now, I don't have the Shelby schedule in front of me, I don't think, but I know Cherryville Post 100 will play on Monday night. Scheduled to play Monday night as they host Clover here in Cherryville in the first game of the Legion season. So Legion season's fun. If you're a fan, you like baseball, you don't have many nights that they don't play. I mean, most of these teams are going to play like
27
just
games.
roughly, 25 in 30 days.
Yeah,
I mean, it's something like
basically.
that. Because you play basically the month of June, and then July, first week of July is when the playoffs start. So you get all those games in, barring rainouts, and you get all those games in.
That's where you better have
quick
some deep pitching.
Yep.
When you play it on, and it's 9-inning game, not 7.
Right.
So that's a little more, but
And you usually see a lot of runs scored, especially in the early going in the regular season for Legion, because usually it's let's face it, they're usually all-star teams from three or four high schools that make up these Legion teams, and you see more hitting, and even though you got good pitchers, they don't overpitch them. Obviously, they don't overpitch them until they get.
they don't throw 184 pitches usually.
Until they get the playoffs. I mean, obviously, you're going to use your better pitchers more once you start the playoffs and hope you can get 9 innings. Here's the only thing: do you build their stamina now, getting them to 9 innings, because they're used to pitching a complete game in high school, 7 innings? So, do you try and get a couple guys out there and get them 9 innings in and build their stamina up? Different ways to approach it, right? Different ways to look at it. Keep them fresh or build them up.
Pitched the whole season in high school. I mean, it's.
But a complete game, 7 innings.
True. That's why I say you basically just about have to have what you call a closer, to come in last inning or so.
It's looking like Richard Walker tweeted out about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, the composite schedule for Legion teams, Gaston, Cleveland County teams, and it looks like Shelby will be playing tomorrow at Belton, South Carolina at 1 p.m. for a doubleheader. That's according to
So they open tomorrow on the road in South Carolina.
And then they'll play again Tuesday the 27th in South Carolina at Gaffney, according to the schedule. Post 100 said kick off the season against Clover on Monday, and then they'll play again, according to the schedule, on Wednesday the 28th at the Gaston Braves, which will be held at South Point.
Well, guys, we finally get back to the NBA playoffs today. Does it not seem to you guys like they've been off for a week?
They took those 2 days off. I mean, the Heat Pacers played on Tuesday, and they've had off. They've had off since Tuesday. They had 3 days off.
3 days off, yeah.
But like I said, it worked out for the Pacers there. Paul George, now passing his concussion test. Like I said, don't know how good the doctors are with Indiana. Too many guys saying they've been cleared of no concussions during the game, and then come back the next day later and realize they had a concussion. So we'll see how he's affected. Miami's at home, so first game in Miami for this final. See, can the Pacers keep it close like they've been, or will the Heat, with that crowd for the Heat, will they try to blow them out or whatnot?
If George had not passed the test, that he cannot play.
Could not play.
Because they were saying that he said he was going to play,
Mhm.
that he was symptom free for 2 days, and then of course all the so-called experts are saying, well, they have no chance to go to Miami if he doesn't play.
Well,
They have
I'm
no
gonna be-
chance.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. By graphics that they put up, it's like 16-point difference from him being on the court or not
Yeah.
on the court for Indiana.
Well, the thing is, if you look at Tuesday night's game, Lance Stevenson balled out of his mind. I mean, he said he had 25 points. He was a high scorer in the game for both teams, but he only scored 2 points in the fourth quarter because Eric Spoelstra and the Heat made adjustments, put Norris Cole on him, and Lance
never
couldn't get
was
inside the
touching the
paint.
ball,
Couldn't get inside the paint anymore. Couldn't stay on the 3-point line. So you had a great game from Lance, but you didn't have anything from George. You didn't have anything from West. Whereas game one, Indiana shot lights out from 3. And, can they get – and Miami couldn't hit anything from the outside that game. Ray Allen couldn't get going. Bosch couldn't hit anything. Chalmers, nobody.
Does Haslam still start for Miami?
He starts. He starts. But, I think
I know they got the
matchup-
Birdman comes in.
Birdman, that was another key of getting the game Tuesday night. Birdman had, I think, 12 rebounds. So what he did –
Good job, Birdman.
Controlling the board.
I
and
tried.
Then Wade and LeBron just taking over at the end,
I expect you to come in next Saturday looking like Miami.
tatted
Miami's
up.
Birdman.
If I did, y'all would all fall on the floor.
You're talking about the Pacers' chances going to Miami without George. What are their chances of winning a game with George?
I think they get a
in
split.
Miami.
I think they're going to get a split.
What's their chances of winning the series?
I think it's 40%.
I'll say 20.
I say 40%. See 60-40 Miami. Yeah, I say 40%.
I'm going 50.
Wow. Do you think they have to win today?
I think they have to win one of them.
Just one. Okay. As long as they just win one, get home court back, home court advantage back. What has happened to the Thunder? There is no Thunder.
There's no defense.
Not a lot of boom in the Thunder.
It's on the man on the sideline to come up with realize that Kendrick Perkins and Steven Adams combination just doesn't work out.
Well, I heard him the other night say, why don't you move Westbrook to the number 2?
Bring in Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson play point guard. Well, I don't know if is he a point guard, because he looks like to me he's looking to score himself. And then who they going to put in on the front line?
Well, I mean, they had one point they had Durant playing the 4, and Duncan was just took him down low and just dominating them. Durant ain't but about 150 pounds soaking wet. So
is Oklahoma City really the second best team? Or maybe are they really one of the two
with a
best teams?
out? I mean,
in the West. Are they?
Yeah, if they had Ibaka, because he covers up a lot of their mistakes.
I think the Clippers are the second best team in the West, even though they lost.
I was going to ask you next, do you think one of those teams like the Clippers or like Golden State or somebody would have matched up better with San Antonio?
I would have been interested to see how the Clippers would have matched up there. I think because they have just as much
Well,
depth.
really, Herman Ibaka, I mean, he couldn't play.
Yeah, but and then now they're talking about he's a game time decision for Sunday's game.
Do y'all think they're that good?
Who, the Thunder?
The Clippers.
The Clippers?
I think they're better with Doc Rivers as their coach, but as a team wise, I don't think they're any good at all.
You know what the win difference was between
Doc?
Doc Rivers and Vinny
Terry,
Del
he's
Negro?
going to give you a real serious stat right here. Listen to this.
The win difference between Doc Rivers and Vinny Del Negro, 1 game. They won 1 game.
So they're
more.
much better.
They
Doc won one more.
One more game, and they went a little further. They went the 1 round further in the playoffs.
But
this
that's
year
what
versus
counts.
But
That is what
remember,
counts.
last year, no Blake Griffin
Yeah,
in that
but
first round of the playoffs.
This is Doc Rivers' first year being with them. Will they get better? Yes. But this squad that they've got, I just don't think that they're a legitimate NBA contender right now.
Do you like Golden State better?
I would take Golden State over them.
Clippers beat them.
Yeah, I would.
I mean, I would.
I wouldn't now.
In a
Now we got to
7-game
see.
series.
Now we got to see what Steve Kerr can do.
But it did go 7.
Yeah.
And that's just like us counting the Thunder out. Well, the
I'm counting them
Thunder,
out.
A couple years
2
ago,
years ago,
Thunder did come back and beat them, being down 2 games.
But
to
they
none.
had They had James Harden on that roster as well.
Well, they did.
And he lit it up from 3-point.
Well, they are going home, and here's the deal.
And that's a big difference.
They don't just have to win one. They have to win two.
They got to win both of them, and then still get a game in San Antonio.
If they're going to have a chance at all, they have to win both games right now.
Well, that's the reason I'm saying on the other side. On the other side, I think Indiana has a whole lot better chance. I'm like Jason on this. I'm looking 6 or 7 games because if it comes to Game 7 and you're in Indiana, I don't know whether Miami can win that one.
Only time will tell. We got to take a quick timeout. Be back with more sports talk here in a moment.
We're community-minded. We believe in what we do. We love this town. We live in just like you.
We're a community bank. That's why we always try to approach things from a community-minded point of view. When something is in the best interest of the communities we serve, it's good for us as well. We're community-minded, just like you.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community-minded, just like you.
We're community-minded, just like you.
0% financing. That's right, 0% financing on the new Ferris mowers and the new Bobcat mowers from Hojo Power Sports and Equipment in Shelby. Hurry in now. Remember, your grass never sleeps. See the full line of famous Ferris and Bobcat mowers now on sale with 0% financing. Come on in for all the details on how you can own your new Bobcat or Ferris mower from Hojo Power Sports and Equipment, 110 Grigg Street off South Lafayette Street in Shelby. Is the cost of ink driving your profits down? Then listen up. Discount Inkjet and Toner is here to help. And now they have a new additional location in Shelby at 1725 East Dixon Boulevard, just below Keeter Ford. Discount Inkjet and Toner specializes in refilling inkjet and toner cartridges. Cut your ink costs by as much as 50% or even more. Discount Inkjet and Toner, 410 East Franklin Boulevard in Gastonia, and now open in Shelby at 1725 East Dixon Boulevard in the former Little Moo location. 100% satisfaction guaranteed.
It's time. Time to head to the Pine Mountain Golf Course. Pine Mountain invites all former Pine Grove Golf Course players to come on up. You'll find a challenging 18-hole par 68 course. Play all day on weekends for only $22. Seniors can play and ride on weekends for $19. And ask about the Clip and Save coupons available. Call 828-433-4950 for your tee time at the Pine Mountain Golf Course, located at the base of the beautiful South Mountain State Park.
You made it past the grip of winter. Now here comes spring. Your lawn, grass leaping up inches every day. Your shrubbery with green shoots and branches. Your trees, inundating your weekends with dreadful and endless trimming jobs. Hey, it takes professional to conquer spring. You need a Husqvarna dealer. You need Carolina Hardware and Garden Center on the Reedsville Road in Lincoln. Only your Husqvarna dealer has the most complete line of professional Husqvarna products. See them today, Carolina Hardware and Garden Center on the Reedsville Road in Lincoln.
Beaver Dam Auto Auction is a family-owned and operated business that has been open for 32 years. Auctions are open to dealers and the public. Beaver Dam is located on 16 paved acres with 4 lanes under one roof. Sales are held every Wednesday at 7 p.m., with vehicle previews starting at 9 a.m. on the day of the sale. Beaver Dam Auto Auction, just off Highway 74 West at 107 Webb Road, Shelby. And dealers, bring titles and inspected vehicles to sell to the public and get rid of that old inventory.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. Great conversation going on there
You
during
call
the break.
Man. Terry,
I wish y'all could have been here.
I don't know what's in this
Three-
Diet
yeah.
Mountain Dew bottle. that he's got.
3/4 great.
You have got new shoes on.
3/4
and you got them
great.
on the floor. You better start picking them up a little bit.
Blake Griffin is terrible, we learned
According
during
to
the
Terry,
break.
yeah.
Okafor
coming to
Duke
Duke,
is
number one
horrible.
player. He's going to average 1 point and a half a rebound.
Blake Griffin better develop outside shots like he has developed this year. But that's just like him voting for him being third in the NBA on the MVP.
Again, the Celtics
Man.
would love to have him.
The Celtics don't need a
Who
Blake.
wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Yeah, who would?
I'd take Kevin Love before I'd ever take him.
We got all the high school scores from last night for late risers. We just want to give these. We'll think about that while Terry's giving
he's
the
talking,
scores.
he
but-
gives the score. People ain't going to whether to believe him or not.
That's true. I hadn't thought about that, but you're exactly right. Softball and baseball last night. Here are your finals.
These
All
are the
right.
truth.
Yes. In the 1A softball, in the West is the only ones I'm going to give. It was North Stokes defeating East Wilkes last night, 3-2. North Stokes will move on. They are 25-2 on the year. Next up for them will be Hiwassee Dam, who is 23-2 as they defeated Lincoln Charter 2-1 last night in the 1A. So next up, North Stokes against Hiwassee Dam in the 1A West finals. In the 2A bracket, it was West Stanley 23-5 losing to Forbush. Forbush 21-4 defeats them 4-1. Next up will be East Rutherford. East Rutherford 23-2 on the year with a 5-1 win over Madison. So it'll be East Rutherford against Forbush in the 2A softball finals. In the 3A finals in the West, it was Sun Valley defeating North Lincoln 8-4. Sun Valley 22-4 on the year. Next up for them will be Inca. Inca defeated Pisgah last night 6-5. Inca is 20-3 on the year. In the 4A bracket, it was Northwestern Guilford losing to North Davison. North Davison goes to 30-0 on the year with a 5-0 win over Northwestern Guilford. They will face up against Alexander Central, who is 32-0 on the year with a 10-3 win over Lake Norman. In the 1A baseball, in the West, it was East Surrey defeating Albemarle 3-1. East Surrey is 28-0. Next up for them will be Hayesville, who defeated Cherville last night 6-3. Hayesville is 20-2 on the year. In the 2A baseball, it was East Davison going to 19-6 with a 4-0 win over West Stanley. Next up for them will be Bunker Hill, who is 24-5 on the year with a 1-0 win over Smoky Mountain. In the 3A baseball, it was Piedmont defeating Carson 4-0. Piedmont is 19-8 on the year. Next up for them will be Burns. The Bulldogs are 23-4 with a 5-1 win over North Buncombe. In the 4A baseball, it was West Forsyth going to 25-5 on the year with a 2-0 win over R.J. Reynolds. Next up for them will be Providence. Providence is 26-4 with a 1-0 win over Audrey Kell. Those are your softball and baseball highlights from Thursday and Friday nights.
So congratulations to the winners. They'll be moving on to the Western Regional Championships, and also congratulations to the ones that did fall yesterday. Tough break for you, but we know you'll bounce back. Still a great season for any of you teams that made it to the fourth round. You guys been catching any of NFL Network's top 100 players going into this season?
I caught
a couple.
Well, I know we got
not much.
two Cowboy fans over there. I think one's 100% Romo and the other one's about 40%. And he was ranked number 71 in the top 100 going in.
What do you think? He should be.
Okay, here's my question to you. They said he's the number 12 on the quarterback list. Give you 3 minutes during our break to tell me who the 11 are ahead of him. Back in a moment.
All right, over here with it. Easy there. Great.
Rates are low today. The time is right to improve your home. We have home improvement loans and we're lending right now. Join your neighbors and friends and people all over our local communities who are improving the quality of their lives by improving the quality of their homes. We're an equal housing lender.
Carolina Trust Bank, member FDIC. Community minded just like you.
Pick up this week's What's Up Shopper for a 9-hole golf special at the Woodbridge Golf Course on beautiful Moss Lake. With this coupon, you can play and ride Monday through Friday after 3 for just $10. But that's not all. You can play and ride Saturday and Sunday after 3 for just $12. But hurry, this offer ends soon. Pick up this week's What's Up Shopper for this special coupon deal. Call Woodbridge today for your tee time. The number is 704-482-0353.
Family Med Pharmacy in Stanley is your hometown pharmacy, good neighbor pharmacy. Their brands are equal to national brands, bringing you substantial savings. And don't forget, Family Med Pharmacy in Stanley has a diabetes shop. They are your partner in diabetic care. And every Wednesday is Senior Citizens Day. And get an extra 10% off at Family Med Pharmacy in Stanley, right behind Hardee's and right across from Food Line. Call 704-263-0810 for Family Med Pharmacy. Honda's line of 4Trax Rancher all-terrain vehicles are America's favorite ATVs because they're always improving. That's especially true with the all-new 2014 Ranchers, like the new double cradle steel chassis and aggressively styled bodywork that's just as tough as it is good-looking. So head on down to Honda of Shelby, Highway 74 Bypass East in Shelby, and see the entire 2014 Honda Rancher line. You'll see why these midsize ATVs are truly the best on earth. Honda of Shelby, Highway 74 East. It's just around the corner. The 2014 American Legion Baseball World Series, and tickets are now on sale. Get the best seats for the best game in town. General admission tickets are $35 for the entire event. This year's American Legion Baseball World Series is set for August 14 through 19. Games 1 through 14 can be viewed on ESPN3 and the championship game on ESPNU. For more information, visit the website at AmericanLegionWorldSeries.com. Get your tickets now. Celebrate in May with a new Chevrolet from Abernathy Chevrolet in Lincoln. Get great offers all month long. Check out the lineup of award-winning vehicles just waiting for you to give them a test drive. Like the new 014 Chevy Cruze LT with a $1,500 total cash allowance, or the new 014 Malibu LT with a $2,500 total cash allowance. And May is Military Month with dealer pricing for veterans, active and retired. Come on in for all the details. Celebrate May with the new Chevrolet, Abernathy Chevrolet, 1445 East Main Street, Lincoln.
And welcome back to Sports Talk. David, Terry, Steve, Jason. Gave these guys a challenge here. Come up with the 11 quarterbacks that the players voted on. This is players' picks, top 100 players. And they said there was 11 quarterbacks ahead of Romo, that he was the 12th quarterback on the list. What did you come up with? Let's just go through them and see. How many did you name?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14.
14, which we'd have to narrow down to 11.
Mm-hmm. So some of these guys are out, but I'm telling you, Tony Romo is one of the top 5 in the NFL.
Terry.
But anyway.
I'm glad his opinion is just his opinion and not, let's see, how many players play in the NFL? About how many thousand?
3,000.
Is it 3,000? And they voted.
Well, them guys are too busy playing. They're not watching.
They're too
what
busy
he does.
picking him off. It doesn't mean he's not their favorite player.
I'm telling you.
Oh,
Maybe
man.
they don't like him because he defeats them.
Name the ones you did. Well, that would only be 8 of the
Yeah.
teams because the other 80 did.
All right.
Name the ones you didn't pick. I mean, you did pick. Name the
Okay.
ones, and we'll see.
Matt Stafford.
Mhm.
You know, he's down here. Eli Manning.
Mhm.
RG3. We put down Matt Ryan. Russell Wilson. Andrew Luck. Kaepernick. Phillip Rivers.
No Kaepernick.
No Kaepernick because he's already been named.
Yeah, he's in the
Oh,
90s.
okay.
He was like number 91.
Yep.
So.
Oh, see there, he's already ahead of him. Rivers.
Yep.
Roethlisberger.
Okay.
Rodgers. I mean, these guys are legit ahead of him. These last 4 that I'm naming are ahead of him. Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Along with 7 others.
Yeah, Drew Brees and Peyton Manning.
So I was trying to just glance here. We did not name Kansas City. We decided to leave Smith
That's
out.
Smith, yeah, we
we
did
did not
mention
name
him,
Oakland because we don't even know who it's going to be. And we did not name yes, we did name San Diego. I'm trying to go by division here. Then you go to the south. We named Indianapolis. We got Andrew Luck, but we did not name Tennessee. We did not name Houston because their quarterback situation's up in there. Just a minute ago I said we did not name Oakland. Now I forgot though that Schaub is the new quarterback.
I can tell you right now, Matt Stafford.
Stafford's been named.
He was He was 100. He was number 100.
He's gone.
So he's gone.
He's gone. So let's see what other quarterbacks are seeing. Colin Kaepernick's gone.
I was just trying to go by the division. Tennessee, no. Houston, No.
That's 12.
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville. No.
Yep.
Moving on into the
Jets, no.
North Division, Jets probably not with Geno, not for another year or so. New England, yes, and then the other
Buffalo,
two, Buffalo, no, and Miami, no.
That's it so far for.
Tell you what, it's about. It's about. We might have our list. We might have our list set.
So far,
are you down to 11?
I'm down to 12. So one of these guys are not on here, and it's probably Smith that I've got wrote down here.
So far, they've
Yep,
done
that's probably
number
right.
100 through
Probably
70.
Alex Smith.
Number 100 through 71. So the only quarterbacks named so far have been Matthew Stafford at 100, Colin Kaepernick at 81, Tony Romo at 71.
Scratch off whichever one you think, Terry, and we'll just see when it all pans out how close
Smith,
we were.
That's who I'd take away.
So he's going to take off Kansas City. You have to give me the rest of them after we go off, because a couple of them I just wrote down the teams that we had included.
Still got Eli on there
in that list.
Yeah, Eli's got to be on here.
Yeah, to make it 11, you just about have to have Eli on the list, don't you? To make it 11 quarterbacks ahead of him.
You got Faust on there?
No.
Who?
No. Folks, I mean.
Nick Foles.
That would be a 50-50 one there. Nick Foles would be 50-50.
I didn't even put him on here.
Had a real good season last year, so he would be.
I mean, that's 1 year. I mean,
right. But that's kind of
That's
where they're
all
going.
matters,
I mean,
yeah.
that's kind
That's
of where
true.
they're going. They're going on how you would rank going into this next season, not what you've done as
Eli didn't
in a
have too
career.
good a year last year, but his overall.
Yeah. I mean, I will be honest with you. When you look at this, he might be the only one that might be added, but would have to take somebody away. And which one of these would you take away? Maybe it's kind of hard to take Rivers away.
No, he had a great year.
Out of this, yeah.
I see somebody I don't think you named. Flacco.
Yeah.
Oh, we did not name
Flacco. And I'll bet Flacco's going to be
I
on
guarantee
there.
he's one of those.
I have to write down the big Baltimore name here because we failed to mention Joe Flacco. Wow. Well, we'll find out. It's going to take a while to find out, though. I think 7 weeks because they're doing 10 a week, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, they are. Yes,
so
they
it'll
are.
take us a while to find out, but we'll probably see a couple unveiled this week.
They're probably going to
As we get on toward the end, though, we'll know who's on there.
They're going to revote this week.
No, quick announcement. From 11 to 3 today, there'll be a fun day going on today over Old Oaklawn School. Food, games, free food games. Come on out from 11 to 3.
Thought every day was a fun day.
Hey, it is. And I want to wish my mom celebrated birthday yesterday, Jocelyn Barber.
Happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Got to throw this one out there. I'm glad you brought it up. Tomorrow, Rick Mitchum.
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow. So happy birthday to Rick as
Happy
well.
60th.
Does the does the ball games with me.
50th.
So happy birthday to both. Thanks for tuning in this morning. For Jason Barber, Steve K, Terry Reinhardt, I'm David Kiever. See you next week on Sports Talk.